how is it possible to then bring feelings into the room without being seen as gratuitously emotional? Well, the first thing that I think I have to do, and I believe is the way to go with this, is to keep a very close eye on myself. And I imagine this kind of webcam or a security camera that I have, where I am monitoring what's happening to me, particularly if the conversation is taking me somewhere emotional that I didn't anticipate. So this morning, for example, I was meant to be on a call at 8:15 this morning, and I called the person, a potential client. She didn't pick up. And I thought, that's odd, maybe she's very busy. And then at 25 past 8, in fact, yeah, 25 past 8, she called me and said, where are you? And instantly, I was in a pitching situation. I felt very nervous, or not nervous, I felt embarrassed, and then I felt sorry that the call hadn't panned out the first time. And then I started to feel doubt. Did I call her? Didn't I call her? So I was watching myself doing this, and I thought, well, I'm going to have to start pitching now. I have a carefully prepared pitch to explain. I'm going to have to get a grip of myself. So at that point, I had to decide, do I say how I feel or explain it, or do I stick to the script that I have for myself? In that case, I think I said something like, I slightly fluffed it. I think I said, oh, that's a shame that it's, or I'm sorry, or that's awkward that it hasn't panned out the first time. And then we got on with it. But even being allowed to say a little bit about how I felt, I didn't say what I could have. It already allowed me to refocus a lot more quickly on what I was supposed to be saying. So there's a living example. The other thing that I can do, and I suppose that's what I did this morning, is to leave the word feel out of it. Interestingly, a lot of people get embarrassed about the thought of talking about their feelings because they think they have to say feel. I feel this, I feel that. Actually, there is absolutely no need. And just by skipping that one word, it's possible to use feeling words like I'm frustrated, I'm worried, I'm put out, I'm fed up, I'm impatient, I'm happy, I'm relieved. Actually, they just blend into normal business language. I've mentioned this already, but I'm going to mention it again. There is something magical and very clarifying about naming the feeling. Naming the feeling stops people guessing about you. And that's an important piece of vocabulary that often needs to be woken up. And I do an exercise when I'm running programs where we literally spend 10 or 15 minutes brainstorming, calling out lots of names of emotions, many of which never get used again, but it's worth having that vocabulary at your fingertips. And the reason I do that is because I don't want them to work hard. I don't want people to guess about me. And that's what will happen if I don't name my feelings. So that's how. So how does it sound? I might say, I'm worried that you might cave in during this meeting when the client pushes you on costs. I am uncomfortable about spending more time on this topic because we have much bigger issues to make decisions on. And that, to me, it sounds all very factual, but actually, I'm actually talking about my feelings there. A question from Leela. Is it okay to ask for a pause or a break if you're getting into a tizzy? Absolutely. I really like that. So one option is to say, I'm getting in a tizzy, and the other one is to say, listen, I need to collect my thoughts. There's a lots of things happening, or I could do with a break. We're not robots, and it does take some bravery to say that, but I do also believe that it makes for a real conversation, and people are much more likely to trust us if we're prepared to reveal that we're actually human as well as professional. So far in the how, I've covered keeping an eye on yourself, naming feelings, but here are 3 words that I would strongly suggest, words or phrases I would strongly suggest you avoid, because as somebody once put them to me, they are weasel words, and it was an American guy called Dan Stone. And if you look it up in the dictionary, weasel word is words that detract from the meaning of a sentence. So this is It's unfortunately, it's not redundant language, it's kind of minus language. It weakens the message. And here are my three absolute favorites, and anybody who's hung around me for long enough will know that these ones come up again and again. So here's the first one: a bit. If I say a bit, I'm a bit worried, I'm a bit annoyed, you're not going to know what I mean. A bit, absolutely forbidden. So that one is out of the window if you want to make your meaning clear. The second one is, you probably know this, I'm going to write them in red now, a little. Yuck. You either are or you aren't. Now, if you want to say a little or a bit, then give it marks out of 10. And this is what I'll do as well, but I'll come back to that in a second. The last really forbidden word is slightly. And that is a very British preserve. I'm slightly worried. I'm slightly, worse still, oh, I'm just going to chuck another one in here, concerned. What is that about? And worse still, I am slightly concerned. What absolute rubbish. I'm either worried or I'm not. If I am, I'll tell you what the exception is. If I want to say I'm a bit worried, I will give it marks out of 10. So if I'm talking to Matt or Nicola or a client, say, well, I'm a bit worried, and when I say a bit, I do mean a bit. I'm a 2 out of 10. And then they know that I mean a bit, a little, slightly. I do not use the word concerned. It is nonsense. And you listen to how much politicians use the word concerned, and then you'll know I'm telling the truth about nonsense. Here's the crash course on how to make your email more emotionally intelligent. Okay, I want to show you an email which is not emotionally intelligent, but it is really funny, and I got this one yesterday. So I've got about a minute to show you this one. So here it is. So this is from a chap called Roy Round. He's a beekeeper, and if you don't know it, I keep bees as well. And it says, "Dear Worcestershire beekeepers," if you can't read it, "we have scheduled a training session for this Thursday evening." So far, so good. It's Bee Health Week, yawn, and an opportunity to look at the ailments and afflictions that beset our charges. I thought, oh gosh, I'm really losing the will to live already here. He's totally switched me off. The evening's entertainment, oh gosh, it's getting worse, is due to take place at the New Elizabethan School, blah, 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 blah. Facilities are excellent. It is sad lacking bees, blah, blah. It may be more beneficial. Consideration. The rapid spring builder. I'm just dying by this stage. By the second time I read it, I actually thought it was quite funny. You know, he's saying, you know, so it's an excellent facility. The venue is sadly lacking in bees. But I was highly motivated to read this email. What is in its favor, and what I like about it, so this is one golden rule for emotionally intelligent email, is that it is short. So top marks, Roy, it's really short. No, no marks for the length of words. So jargon, horrible, horrible, horrible. It shut me out, and it was only because I know that beekeepers tend to be really eccentric and weird, present company accepted, of course I'm not, that I was prepared to do it. And actually the topic turned me right off because I don't want to know about what's killing my bees. I just want to have lots of fluffy bees. So good for being short, lousy for jargon, and this does not apply to Roy's email, so I'm going to switch this off. And this is about when to send and when not to send that email. If you're having strong feelings, if you are really feeling fed up when you are writing your email, here's the advice: write it and then bin it, because it's almost certainly going to do damage. And then call the person up. Write it, bin it, and call them up. You will save yourself untold trouble. There's another thing that really, really bugs me about emails, and I think makes them very emotionally stupid, I'll go so far as to say, is when people don't bother to change the title of the subject line of the email. So I might send an email out saying, have you got a minute to talk this afternoon? That might be the title, and I might have 2 or 3 lines underneath saying what I want to talk about. Then the other person whizzes me back and says, yes, that's fine, talk to you later, 1 o'clock. And then about a week later, because they can't be bothered, I think, to find my email address, they then send me an email entitled, have you got a minute, have you got a minute to talk about something completely different? For me, that is like having a non-conversation. It's a really weird artifact of email. It's emotionally unintelligent or daft or even stupid or even offensive, if I'm really honest, because it says to me lazy. They couldn't be bothered to change the title. They couldn't be bothered to find my email address. I'll forgive you that. But if you can't be bothered to change the title, why should I pay attention to you? Be very interested to hear from you if that whether you validate that or you think I'm just a bit bonkers and OCD. What else? Yeah, so keep out the strong feelings by not sending it at all. Here's the final clue. If it is taking you a long time to write this email, don't send it, because if you're having to tweak it and be that subtle, and the meaning that you're trying to be conveyed depends on the other person being in the right mood or reading your words correctly, don't do it. Phone them up. So the big clue is you're having to adjust and readjust. Don't. Just call, bin the email. Okay. Final, I think you're asking questions as we go along. I think there's another one. I'm glad that worked for you, Kerry. Christine Harrison, completely agree. You read the title thing. Oh, good. I'm not bonkers. Thank you very much indeed. I can reveal I was 50 last week, and I think it's telling in my opinions and stuckness sometimes. Anyway, so final hands up for questions before I poll you again. I want to ask you again what your position is on how do you know what to do. Any more questions that you would like to ask me? Okay, I'm going to poll you anyway, and if questions come up, you can ask. So this is again, I'm asking you a slightly different question. I'm confident that I know how to handle feelings at work. So select one of the following. I'm still where I started out today. I may have made a bit of progress. I now have something specific to try out. I really think I can succeed more often now. I'm much more confident that I know what I'm doing. Have we got some? Oh, here we go. She's closed. She's a brutal one, that Nicola Spridgen. She's closed the voting. I now have something specific to try out. Could be good. Well, I'm pleased with that. I may have made a bit of progress. Time will tell. Yeah, and it will. And it would be great to hear your war stories, what you've found out, what you've tried out, whether it worked or not. It really, really doesn't matter. It would be great to know how you got on. If you have to dash off, I absolutely understand, but here's my 3 summary points to be very brief. Firstly, it's very much name the feeling. Name the feeling. Get it off your chest. Get it out there so that people don't have to guess about you. The second thing is cut out the weasel words. A bit, slightly, and somewhat, and a little. And if you have a dodgy email, if you don't trust your feelings in an email, what you have to do is to bin it and call. And those are 3 hot tips for you, bottom lines. Lovely. Thanks again for joining. Have a super Friday, and look forward to seeing you next month, and we'll have another juicy topic for you. Bye for now.